Yellow Sweater is back, and so is Update. We're going into our 4th episode, and I just quickly wanted to point out that we've been amazed by the reception we got so far. That being said, I do want to draw your attention a little bit down below. There's a beautiful subscribe button, hit that one, hit the bell button right next to it, because all I can say is that we've been brewing on some content that might just hit the platform in the near future. With that out of the way, you can drop in the comment section down below to take a guess at what that content might be, but more importantly, we can go right into the video. My name is still Dino, and this is Update.
Welcome back to the House of the Throws, to the League of Heart Attacks. This last week was an extra of level 1 Noon Plays and a pinch of base race.
Pero también tiene destello Sealer, no lo tiene en el directo, con lo cual ha sido un predict. ¡Oh, Dios! Oh. Bueno, para el highlight del compañero Casing esta partida, porque...
Casing was sublime on Thresh. As Jer said, he's just giving Thresh to Thresh players, but even without his Thresh, Casing is huge in Superliga. And you can watch that in the Movistar Riders vs Cream Real Betis. Riders shut down Betis' winning streak of 7 victories, and that match is a beautiful display on how to play a 1-3-1 combo with rookie top laner Marquis, making the difference for his team with an MVP awarded Camille. Standings looking still pretty tight, with playoffs cut-off mark in 5 victories and 4 teams trying to get the playoffs last place. With only 3 weeks of regular phase remaining, that battle is getting bloodier and bloodier week after week. For the next week increases in importance the Cream Real Betis versus EUcam, since EUcam is right now only 1 victory under the top 2 teams and going to the top on a 3 games winning streak. Keep an eye on the jungle matchup of LeBron versus Hades. LeBron has been hard carrying Betis with picks like Hakarim, and Hades has been shining on champs like Udyr, so this is going to be more like an initial D episode. The other eye is for Driddy, the absolute EUcam bruiser abuser carry. So this has been everything from this week of Superliga. I'll be updating you next week again. Love!
Hey guys, Glisha here with another week of amazing EBL games. Check it out.
Na botu, pa je ista priča sa tim silnim Duče Zelner je našao ovdje 2 Hoursa koji je prokovao bleskom, stiže Yuti od ovog Kane, da li ima dovoljno da gubi od kursa, bude da baca posljednji Q, da će preskoči zid, Diva, veoma lep Emperor's Divide, koliko damage i killovanja stiže, da li Diva može da prokrene sad ovo flashuje se da bi ubio Spooky, da pobiti od VCC-a Spooky, nema njemu spasao, da li Duše VCC ulazi ovdje da pokuša da spazi svog junglera tog, dolazi do 1 kilo, da li VCC može da uzme ovdje kill, odgovor je da dobiju ima to kilo, ovdje top ne može ništa uradi, može se prostrofuje, da li Kiko želi da pokuša ovdje, ne.
I'd like to start things off with talking about Crvena Zvezda. You see the logo here behind me. The team has players with a lot of potential, but they don't seem to mix well together at all, having 8 losses in the league at the bottom place, a bit devastating for me since I'm rooting for them. Nexus is showing more and more quality gameplay with every week now. Their top laner, Coldpast Main, is the kind of guy that likes to play tanks, and believe it or not, he gets target banned sometimes, so he has a Jace in his pocket, but this time he found the middle ground, picked Seth and stopped the show for X25 esports, and with a little luck, if they keep this up, Nexus might just be in the playoffs. On the other hand, X25, the team that lost to Nexus, aren't looking that great at all. They are underperforming and they really need to get right back on track or they will endanger their playoff spot. And last but not least, Crazy lost their first place tiebreaker against Shaim Sesapap last week, and now Shaim Sesapap is looking as strong as ever. Still need to win 1 more game this week in our match of the week, actually against Zero Tenacity, to remain on the top of the scoreboard, but Zero Tenacity is not going to let that happen easily or at all, so be prepared for 1 banger of a game.
Hi guys, I'm Zerotic and I'm a French caster that will be your guide for the LFL.
Attention, Adam qui continue d'aller de l'avant ici. Oh, Steelback est tout seul. Syncroft qui pourrait se faire catch ici. Et derrière, attention, Targa parce qu'il redonne les inside au cœur également. Du fight, Adam qui swing, un maximum, la shockwave également. Mais ce sont bien les Solarios qui prennent le meilleur à moins que... non, les Adam exceptionnel, les swings sont colossaux.
Most of the games this week went according to the standings, but a few upsets made a lot of noises. GameWard took down BDS in a really clean manner by picking Ashe to track blows all around his jungle. But the most important one, and the one we should go watch because that's a huge banger of a game, was the Solari win against K-Corp in the Classico. The fights were really intense in a 40-minute game with a Kassadin for Scarlet. As for the standings, top 5 will go into playoff, King of the Hill style. And And the top 5 is really close right now, with only 7 games remaining for every team. Gamers Origins are just behind and are still strong contenders. Solari just ended a 2-0 week, and the arrival of Iva at the coaching role may start a really good trend for them if they can keep it up. Easy Dream, LDLCOL and MCS closed the standing and made a look to aim for a stronger summer split. The opening game of Thursday at 6 PM will see the top 2 teams face off to decide which one will get the throne. Misfit Premier versus Team BDS. In the first head-to-head, Misfits came victorious in a 26-minute game led by Aggressivos Aatrox. Team BDS will certainly be looking for rabid blood and will never stop their aggression. That's it for me. Be sure to check out the LPLOL Twitch channel on Wednesday and Thursday for the LFA, and I'll see you next week. À très vite.
Hey everyone, it's your friendly neighborhood Belgian league caster, Exodus here. Now, in Belgium, we're known for our chocolates, so let me fill you in on the Belgian league.
Een beetje gevecht kunnen worden, een beetje gevecht. Dus Dr. Sarah meteen hard daar Age of Frenzy. De lulting, Lobby komt er uiteindelijk neer. Maar hier is de Shockwave. Mooie bullet time. Maar raakt eigenlijk niemand meer. Dr. Sopper uiteindelijk kill op Frenzy op. En Atlas flasht over de muur neer. Maar zit tegen 2 brawlers. Kapstok wordt op een gegeven moment neergehaald. Kijk nu naar Mish. Die leeft nog. Het gaat Arver worden. Prachtige 3-man knock-up. En nu kan Mish hier de fight cleanen. Arver gaat ook nog neer. Quadra kill voor Mish.
Belgian league can be sweet for some, it can be very sour for others. As our run to playoffs is ending, there are 2 teams who are locked in and looking strong. KVM and Ion Squad respectively sitting comfortable at the first and second spot. After that, the storyline gets increasingly tasty. There are still 2 playoff spots available. While it's looking likely that Sector 1 will be making playoffs, they aren't still locked in, so they need one more victory to actually get that lock-in. The last spot is being fought over by the 3 remaining teams. Both 4 Elements and Genk have 2 wins, and at last place it's 7EM with 0 wins and 8 losses. Now, believe it or not, the bottom 4 teams, meaning Sector 1, Genk, 4 Elements and 7EM, all 4 of those are actually still able to make it to playoffs, but as I said, there are only 2 spots still left open. That was it from me. Now don't forget to check in with your weekly dose of Belgian League for great memes.
Hi friends, my name is Craze. I'm the play-by-play caster of the Dutch League. Joining me here today is Bas, my good old friend. He is a big fan of the Dutch League, so he wanted to join me today, and I said, why not? Glad to have you on, and also glad to have you on, because the Dutch League, it's getting close.
Goed voor Sumi, maar ook extra druk op de midlaner van de Lone Lions. Damien, wellicht weer een probleem, heeft nog een flash beschikbaar, maar ik vraag me af of dat wel op tijd zijn exhaust is gebruikt. Maar hier is het antwoord. Goeie headbutt onder de turret. Daarmee is Pivek dood en heeft Damien die kill. Luca is ingeteleport, heeft naar de route geland op NoJoy. En Luca gaat gewoon mee in de Magical Journey.
We started off the week by EchoZulu taking on MCon Esports Rotterdam. MCon is on a hot streak, but EchoZulu ended it with their double marksman composition, and MCon had to suffer their first loss in 4 weeks. Next up was PSV Esports. Usually they're comfortable at the top of the standings, but are having quite a rough season. They played 2 matches last week and they won both of them, facing the number 1 team and the last place team. The jungler from PSV, Albertraber, also won the MVP of the week, having a marvelous game on both Olaf and Graves. Lastly, we saw Lowland Lions take on MCon. MCon had already suffered a loss earlier tonight, but they weren't able to bounce back against the Lowland Lions, who are now on a hot streak of 3 wins in a row. With the race being so close, every win counts and every loss puts you even further behind. With PSV and Lowland Lions usually fighting it out in the finals, we could now have a new scenario where one of them doesn't even make it to playoffs. Times are changing and all other teams are still fighting for their spot. Only Team Thrill is mathematically eliminated from playoffs, but they can still play spoiler and go for the 5th spot in the league. This was the EU update from me and from Buzz. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Hello, beautiful people of EUniverse. My name is Morche, and today I'm bringing you an update to what's happening in Hitpoint Masters.
Jdeme do fightu. My jdeme do fightu, a to nevím, jestli Esumak se možná tady zabije Aatroxe. Ten si ale koupí spoustu času, tady je Gali Ultimate, každý knock-up na 4 hráče. Zatímco Rubu se snaží zoudit zbytek Inside Games. Kde je Pocok, co dělá Pocok? Proč má Galio triple kill? Kde ho vzal? Quadra kill pro Galia, oni mu nechají tu ventu. A ale Defon nemůže ani se nikdy zabít. Prosím, zabij ho. Je to Galio Pentakill. Hitpoint Masters.
KFC, Čeplo, tady s tím krásným skill.
Last week was a week of upsets. Viking Creek managed to bounce back and won against Sinners in a quite dominating fashion. Also, Qualis managed to pick up their first win against Team Brute. Both teams are looking to still make it into playoffs. The match to rewatch from last week is definitely eSuba versus Inside Games, when Inside Games completely stomped eSuba, and also Galio Pentakill, as you saw in the clip, was just cherry on top. The standings are really close right now. Inside Games are at first place with score 8-2. They overcame both eSuba and Sinners by 1 win, which is quite a big achievement for this organization. eSuba and Sinners are tied for second. I mean, their performances weren't so clear, they were a little bit shaky, but they are still teams that you have to watch out in playoffs. Viking Creek are on an uprise right now, having 2 win streaks, looking pretty good, and right besides them are Dark Tigers and Eklot. They are looking pretty shaky, but still they have pretty high chance of securing their playoff spots. Match of the week is definitely eSuba versus Sinners. Sinners got the first win in the first round robin. These teams have the biggest names in our scene, and they also attended EU Masters together during the summer split when eSuba won the final. Definitely watch this game. That's it from Hitpoint Masters. Cheers from Czechia and Slovakia, and see you next week.
Hello, my name is Goldberg, and once again, I'm taking you through the NLC. I guess I'm just that bad. You can call me a bit self-defecating, but yeah.
Okay. I just want to give some context. I was teaching Goldberg a new phrase, self-deprecation, and he didn't hear me, so I repeated it, and I told him it was self-deprecation.
What does that mean?
He just said it.
It means
What does it mean?
yourself. It means you're pooing yourself. That's what it means. Defecation means to poo. So you just told me. You just told everyone that you okay, right, I'm going to break. You go.
Yeah, so it's not always about the games in the NLC. Sometimes we're also a broadcast with less restrictions, and that meant our weekly guest Foxdrop and Scoundrel decided to play a little prank on me. Obviously ending up in me telling myself I pooped in front of thousands of people, and now I'm telling you on a YouTube channel, and also Foxdrop's 60,000 followers on Twitter. But that is also more the reason for you to come watch us, not only for the games, but also for, yeah, my suffering, I suppose. But obviously there was game to talk about as well. Most of day one went just as you had expected it to, with pretty much no upsets whatsoever except Godsend beating Trick. On day 2 we had Kova beating out Barrage, Fnatic losing to Riddle, Granite Gaming beating Trick, and Nordvin taking a win against Dusty. Last day was pretty much set in stone in terms of who won. Over to the standings right now of Group A. BTXL, Nordvin and Trick are all secured playoffs, but Godsend and Granite Gaming will have to play a tiebreaker for that last spot, and that's what we're waiting for next week. Going over to Group B, everything is set in stone. Fnatic Rising at first place, Barrage and Team Singularity sharing second place, which obviously they're going to play a tiebreaker for as well. Kova coming in as 4th, upsetting pretty much everyone's expectations of them, and Riddle staying in the league with M&M Gaming having to play relegations. So obviously match of the week is going to be Godsend versus Granite Gaming. They'll have to play for their playoff spot. Both teams with no expectations coming into the split and everything to lose all of a sudden. That has been the NLC. I'm not even looking at the camera, but I am now. So I'll see you next week.
Hello, EUniverse. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Viper, one of the casters here at the Baltic Masters, and let's take a look back at the wildest league in Europe.
In exchange for the Baron, players like Godox too quick on the rotation. Faison now looking to get a poke down with the ultimate. Won't be able to land it onto anyone except Nemki with one last shot, but one shot does so much, and the curtain has been called. Now look at the back, look at Karis as he gets a nice knockup. Look at the damage come through. This fight is completely broken up as Client's looking to kite away. Salis gets the first killing fight, but it looks like members of Iron Wolves are melting away. Salis is still full out though, and he's the important member. Look at the attack, he's gonna go down. Nemki gonna be chased away. Zambias on the side can do absolutely nothing, and just like that, Pick Sports, Client X with the triple might be able to end this game.
Last week was a week of promising performances and close games, but ultimately no real upsets as the teams at the top continued their dominance. Pigsports and GhostKiller will see their reign of terror continue into our final week of regular play, but the teams just behind them are still battling for their chance of playoffs. Looking back at last week, Method to Madness coming up against GhostKiller was definitely the match to be rewatched over and over again. We hyped it up last week for good reason, and it definitely delivered. Looking over at our standings, GhostKiller remained undefeated at the top of the table with Pigsports holding on to second by a comfortable margin. Looking down towards playoffs, Iron Wolves and Method to Madness both holding those playoff spots for now, but nervously looking over their shoulders as Team Infamous might be looking to make a last-minute challenge. Looking forward to our last week of regular play, the match to watch definitely has to be Pigsports versus GhostKiller. The Gorillas took a dominant win last time these two teams met, but Pigsports have put together a decent run of form coming into this one. A spot at European Masters is at stake for GhostKiller going into this final match of the season, so both teams are going to give it their all. That's all I've got time for, but make sure to tune in to the Baltic Masters Tuesdays and Thursdays for all of the action. I hope to see you there.
Hello guys, it's Black Gator once again with a weekly update about the Primeleague.
Distancing. Das ist so. Du chillst halt. Kaufst dir dein Frostball-Gauntlet auf Naro, wovon ich auch gar kein Fan bin.
Oh, Rika, da will man reingehen. Knockdown Ultimate, jetzt ist kurz die Sicht weg. Jetzt gibt's die Freeze, er geht dann nochmal rein, aber dann Rika mit der Ultimate wieder zurück, der zieht den Fight in die andere Seite, das war's von Sears. Wisdom hat auch nochmal Bock, will auch mitspielen, aber Rebel ist halt schon wieder down, zack, das Gold fürs Kennen eingesammelt, Sears nochmal mit nach vorne rein und die werden abgeholt, einer nach dem anderen vor uns. Ich habe unterstützt auch keine Maske mehr vor diesem Team Big hier.
Going into this week, we had the Super Week at our hands, meaning 3 days of action-packed League of Legends. I love watching these games, make sure you check them out. The match of the week was Gamer Legion versus Berlin International Gaming. On the one hand, Big, the team with the probably best macro in the league, and on the other hand, Gamer Legion, the team that is solid and known for spicy drafts. Big managed to turn around a gank by Gamer Legion into a double kill very early on. After that, they continued to pile up the pressure on Gamer Legion jungler Rebel. The game ended with a 22-minute victory for Big. They won in such convincing fashion, showing the rest of the league that they should be feared and counted into the conversation of top dogs. Struggling with their identity, Ryonix Gaming managed to win against Atok Gaming, their competitor in the bottom of the standings. In the upset of the week, Ryonix managed to beat SK, showing that they're ready to fight and should be not considered a free win. With only 5 games left of the regular season, teams want to solidify themselves on the standings. Going to next week, games will be played on Thursday and Tuesday. Make sure you tune into Match of the Week, which will be played on Thursday 9 PM, Gamer Legion vs Mouse. Enjoy the matches and see you next time.
Hello everyone, my name is Akram and I'm a play-by-play caster for LPLOL.
Agora por si própria, enquanto que o Bit quer apanhar alternativas, não vai. Chase na caça, consegue apanhar é quem? E olha quem vai, é Ruin que cai. O que quer dizer que ainda temos Ivan dentro da luta para tentar usufruir das suas Adoration Stacks. Aproxima-se aziado agora do lado direito. Mais um CC, é em Bit. Hoje o Bielcos aparece. Tenta apanhar alternativas, já mandou o 3 abaixo. Ivan não consegue lutar. Johnny é sacrificado. É um shutdown. E olha que vai entregar, não querem dragão. Querem Baron.
On this week's matchup, we had GTZ, second place team, fighting off the first place undefeated team, White Dragons. The AD carry from GTZ called alternative AD carry from White Dragons overhyped on an interview, so the stage was pretty set up, and we were expecting an amazing game, and that's exactly what we got. Because GTZ started off really well, building up a lead, but out of nowhere, Luchase, the White Dragons jungler, just stole away the mid laner, allowing Alternative to just pop off on the game, demolishing the entire enemy team. In terms of standings, I would call the middle of the pack up for grabs for anyone still, but the top part of the scoreboard is quite interesting because White Dragons are still undefeated, but out of nowhere, Boa Vista, a team that started off really badly, I gotta be honest, on the split, are just conquering everybody. Nobody is capable of stopping them. But this week, they are fighting off versus White Dragons, the undefeated team. So if you want to see that matchup, I would advise you to come and watch LPLOL. It's an amazing league, we have amazing games just like LAC, and sometimes we have games like NA. So we have everything for everyone. I hope you guys had fun, and I'll see you around.
Hello every single one of you beautiful human beings, this is the Fake One, let's get this Ultraliga segment going.
Te playoffy mogą dosłownie im uciec przed nosa. Gdyby takie Comilen Friends czy Gentleman's Gaming miało odpowiedzieć, jest smok na konto właśnie Gentlemanów, ale to walka drużynowa. Może nie poci chłopak, a Jinxasa, co on robi z Bukisolem? On po prostu go chce zmasakrować, ale chyba nie da rady, chociaż ucieka. To jest naprawdę świetna dyspozycja tego leśnika, ale popatrz co robi Kik, Matisław i Bukisel. W tym momencie praktycznie nietknięci, ale reszta ich kompozycji upada.
Spójrzcie tylko na to, Kozi kupujący czas, Yashiro z Killer Instinct agresywnie wchodzący, to może być pentakill dla Yashiro, Kładra już wcześniej była, idzie po pierwszą pętę w tym sezonie Ultraligi, mogą skupować Gentlemanom playoffy.
The past week was full of upsets. First of all, Kik's issues continue as the team dropped the game to Gentleman's Gaming. With playoffs on the horizon, it definitely doesn't look great for the team, but there are still 2 more weeks left for them to get back on track. What is even more important though is that Agorok finally lost their first game. You'd think that it would be Pompa or Illuminar taking the W here, but as it turns out, it was the last team in the league that would break Rogue's winning streak. To be fair, Comil and Friends had a really nice showing, and they're definitely one of the most improved teams in Ultraliga. So if I was to suggest you watch a single game from week 5, it would definitely be the KNF upset over Rogue. Going over to the standings, it is very obvious that the league is currently divided into 3 groups. First we have Agorok, Pompa and Illuminar, all of which have already qualified for playoffs and will compete for the first spot in the regular season. Below them there are Kick and Devils 1, and at the moment it looks like they're gonna close the playoffs list, but as this week showed, we can't be certain of anything in Ultraliga. But the most interesting part of the table is the bottom, as both Gentleman's Gaming and Comil and Friends showed a lot of promise and could surely take a couple of wins to mess with the rest of their league. For the upcoming week, there's a very clear candidate for me to recommend to all of you league enjoyers. It's the Agorok vs 7 more 7 Pompa team, and the result is not so easy to predict, as both of those teams went 1-1 in week 5. I would also keep my eye on the Kick vs Devils 1 match due to the potential playoffs implications for both of those teams. That's enough of Polska Górą for today. I'll see you next week.
Oh boy, what a week it's been here in Italy. Hello everyone, I'm Moonboy and I'll be taking you through the action of week 6 of the PG Nationals.
Per loro e anche il loro porta a distanza.
Oh mio Dio, Sebex! Mio Dio, Sebex! Lotus viene imploso, subito l'inserimento, cercano ste mosse, la trasformazione, la super ancora una volta danni dello stesso Sid, e ora l'inserimento su Colla, flash doppio disponibile, doppio uccisione, triplo uccisione per Sebex, Baltic sulla distanza, c'è quella suprema, c'è quel flash, adesso utilizzato, segue ancora una volta Sebex, in più della strada, quadro uccisione, Pentakill!
You remember Makers, the unbeatable team, the one that had only lost 1 game the whole season? Yeah, they just had a 0-2 week. Magico Esports took them down in our match of the week, confirming their 2-0 score against them and hoping they would make 1 more mistake so they could snatch first place away from them. And the next day, GG and Esports, who were tied for last place at the start of the week, absolutely destroyed Makers in one of the most one-sided matches we've had all season. Oh, and Sebex, Machko's mid laner, you got a pentakill on Corki the second day. This week was crazy. As a result of all the action, and I feel like I'm saying this every single week, but our standings are in complete chaos. Heading into the last week of regular season, we have 3 teams who have locked playoffs and 4 teams who are currently tied at 5 wins who are gonna fight it out for the last 3 spots. And honestly people, I have no idea what to tell you for our match to watch next week. There is so much at stake. GG and Esports had to forfeit both of their matches 2 weeks ago, and now they could still get 3rd place. Samsung Morningstars are our reigning champions and they could get eliminated from playoff contention. I honestly have no idea. There's maybe like 2 games in here that aren't worthy of the match of the week title. This is the best final week PG Nationals has ever had, and if you don't come and see it, then you're just dumb. I'm sorry, you're not dumb. I'm sorry. I was just lashing out in excitement. Please come see our games. They're very fun. You're not gonna regret it, I promise. That's all for the PG Nats this week. I gotta go lay down. This was too much. See ya.
Alright, so let's just pretend that clip just played of me pooping myself. Wait, why should I use... Wait. I'm so scared of talking because I don't know what you're gonna use at outtakes. I don't know why I did that. Fuck it, I'm done today. I'm so done. My recordings are not going well. I have to cast later too, so I'm a bit stressed out. I'm sorry, Dino. I hope you can use what you got. I love you.